He always answers the call when he's needed. He takes a lot of pride in what he does. He is a professional. Quite honestly, there's just not enough guys like Paul around.
He's a truck driver first and foremost, and he's a part-time hero.
Paul Fredericks has been on the road for 53 years and has amassed over 8 million collision-free kilometers. Most of those days have been uneventful, which in trucking is just how you like them. But over the years, the Gatineau resident has encountered more than a few situations where people needed his help. And each time, Paul has answered the call without hesitation.
People are definitely safer when Paul Fredericks is on the road.
Paul credits his instincts and ability to remain calm for his knack of rescuing people in need. He calls it a responsibility, which he believes was born at a very early age, when his father saved him from drowning.
He jumped in and pulled me out. If he didn't get there, probably I would be looking for air, and that's where I would have drowned.
Paul says his second chance at life compels him to pay it forward. After many years, there are plenty of stories. Like the time when a motorboat backed into a group of kids swimming at a cottage pier, hitting one small boy. Paul dove into the water and pulled out the child who was submerged underwater and bleeding profusely. He needed 172 stitches to his leg, but he lived. Another time, Paul's trucker version of Spidey sense kicked in when he encountered 4 ill-equipped outdoorsmen heading into the Quebec wilderness. A cold front moved in, and no one heard from the men for several days. Paul used his instincts to track them down. He found them frozen and starving before he guided them back to camp. Paul says he doesn't chase these moments, they just happen. More recently, he and his wife Carol were in his truck near Indianapolis. As they approached the I-465 loop, they noticed a car going the wrong way, heading down the off-ramp.
I said, oh, geez, this is not going to be good if somebody comes along there. And sure enough,
the SUV collided with a car heading the opposite way. Paul slowed down, anticipating the worst.
Oh my God, it was the SUV, it hit so hard, the back end came up 5-6 feet in the air, fell back down. And the car that she hit, she pushed the car back at least 15 feet and then sideways.
Paul exited his truck and ran to the car. The airbag was deployed, but no one appeared to be inside. So he went to the SUV. He helped out the driver who was conscious, but in shock.
I kept saying to her, I said, are you okay? Are you okay? And she said, yeah.
He went back to the crushed car, which was now on fire and a gas line had ruptured. Again, he couldn't see anyone, even under the airbag. By now, a crowd had gathered and was yelling at Paul to move away. They insisted the car was empty. Instead, Paul pressed further. The front door was stuck, so he opened the back door and saw a cane in the back seat.
There's something strange happens, I think. I don't know if it happens to everybody, but I don't feel the heat.
He climbed into the back and ruffled through the airbag. Sure enough, looking up at him was an older man tucked motionless underneath the crumpled dashboard. Paul kicked open the door from the inside. He then went around to the front and pulled the injured man out of the burning car.
And I got him out. And everybody was saying, there is somebody in the car. Then I got him to pull him away from the car, and as I got away from the car, then it just gulfed into flames.
I got scared and I yelled at him, come back, and he did what he had to do.
The man was in bad shape, but conscious. A police sergeant at the scene later told Paul the man had a chance to live because of his actions. To this day, Paul isn't sure of the man's fate, knowing only he was alive when Paul drove away.
I think it was super. Being an ex-truck driver myself, I've seen people drive right by people that are desperate, and I think it was absolutely awesome that he did that.
Paul can't definitely explain why he always seems to be at the right place at the right time when someone needs help. He only knows that he's meant to be there.
It just happens to me. There has to be something. There has to be something.
I'm glad Paul was there. He was the right guy at the right time.
Because of his personality and his attitude, he's forever watching. and keeping track of what's going on around him that he spots a lot of this stuff. He always seems to be at the right place at the right time when somebody needs help.
I know he's there for a reason, but of course he's there for us, and he's there for saving life too. Yeah, he's my hero.